Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5, and some of you may or may not know that I am very interested in film photography. I can't afford digital, medium, and large cameras, and I like historical, vintage, and antique cameras. They're just fun. One of my favorite antique cameras is also the one that's least fun to shoot because of how you use it and stuff, is the Vest Pocket Kodak. And it's a cool camera. It's not fun to use, but it's cool because it's like the camera of World War One. And I'll post a picture of that right here. But anyways, this is a book review of the Strange Days, Dangerous Nights. This is about the photos from the speed graphic era. And some of you may know, if you keep up with my channel or Instagram, that I recently got a large format speed graphic camera. And I recently took my speed graphic to the beach, and I made 4 exposures, and I'm hoping they turn out. One of them was just, there was a beach house. It wasn't a particularly interesting beach house, but I went ahead and took a picture of it using my ground glass. I didn't use a loop, and then the rest of the pictures I used my rangefinder. This is an interesting book because this is in St. Paul, Minnesota, I believe, and this guy went into what's called the morgue in newspaper jargon. The morgue is where they collect all the old stories and photography, and they store them or archive them so they'll be preserved. And so if you work for a newspaper, there was a morgue, and it's not where people go when they're dead. It's just where they archive stories. And this guy got all the he didn't get all of them, but he sifted through the photos from the speed graphic era, which is going to be, I guess, from the 40s through the 60s. They stopped making speed graphics in the 70s. It's very interesting. They went into the dynamic of newspapers back in the 50s and 60s and stuff. It's a lot different now. Back then, freelance photographers got full reign of the crime scene. There was this understanding between the news photographers or the photojournalists and the police. The police would be like, don't take pictures of me roughing up the suspect, and we'll let you come behind the tape and take pictures of anything you want, including dead people, and they'll put that picture of the dead person right on the front page. And their newspaper photojournalism was very blunt and interesting, to say the least. Usually if we have a murder or a very bad drunk driving accident kind of situation, they'll take a picture of the crashed car or the front of the house with the police tape, but you don't normally see dead people on the newspaper these days. It's also interesting, there was this photographer, his nickname is Ouija, and he's a famous photographer from the film noir time period, the black and white photojournalism kind of time period, this time period. And someone asked him, what camera do I need to get? Because, you got Leicas, Nikons, Canons, Context, you got all these 45mm cameras. And Ouija said, get a speed graphic because the police will assume that you're with the news, which means you can go behind the crime scene tape. So I bookmarked some pages in here. Just to let you know about this book, it does have dead people in this book, and I'm not a extremely squeamish guy. I watch videos on self-defense, I watch badge cam videos, training videos on self-defense. I'm a hunter, or I used to hunt, and I've seen Faces of Death. Unfortunately, that's a pretty weird video or movie. But, there was one picture in here, and it's weird because I didn't have this issue when I was younger. But there was one picture in here that I immediately, as soon as I flipped the page, I put my hand over the picture. It was just way too much. I'm going to describe it to you, not in great detail, but for those of you who hunt, if you shoot something in the head with a high-powered rifle, it does not look right. It looks kind of cartoony in a very unflattering way, and it's just it can be very disturbing. And the same is true for people. And what happened was there was this murder-suicide with a hunting rifle, and all these pictures are in black and white, by the way. And it was just too much for me. You know, I didn't like cry or throw up or anything, but I don't want to look at that. And like when I was younger, like that kind of stuff didn't bother me as much. I guess since I'm older, I'm closer to the age of death, you know, it just hits different. So I'm not going to be showing that picture if I can help it, and you know, just for YouTube's sake. So this is one of the more disturbing things about this book. And the book's a good book, don't get me wrong. It's an awesome book. But the mentality behind the photojournalist, you know, was different back then. So I described to you that they're not afraid of putting dead bodies on the front page. This is a murdered man in his car, and they took a picture of that, posted it in the newspaper. But what they also did was post a picture of the family looking at the newspaper article of their dead relative. The newspaper back then had no chill, and this really stood out to me, you know, the mentality back then. Yeah, obviously a lot of blood, you know, it's not ideal to bring the newspaper to the families like, hey, can you look at this while I take a picture of you? And so that's going to be one of the few, let's just say, gory pictures I'm going to show. And they also have suicides on here. So they have suicide pictures, and or self-delete, if you prefer that term. And they put those, like, you know, large format pictures in the newspaper, you know, pretty detailed. Like I said, this isn't going to be a murder porn video. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I might have to censor that. But that's the aspect of this book, is that it's strange days and dangerous nights. Now, this is a cool story right here, or a cool section of the book. This is some kind of like huge Lutheran gathering. I guess I just read this book once, so I don't have it all memorized. But there was this event for the Lutheran Church in St. Paul, and I think they have over 10,000 people in this area. And what's interesting, you know, they had a 500 man choir, or person choir. I don't know if it's all men or if it's men and women, but you know, they had a 500 person choir. They had thousands upon thousands of people at this event for the Lutheran gathering, I guess you could say. Yeah, you got all these people here for this event. It took 90 minutes to pick up the litter. Now, I don't know how many people they had picking up the litter, but when I clean up after a football game, which doesn't happen very often these days because we hire some people to come clean up. When we clean up after a football game, you know, it's a lot of trash, and it probably takes us, if it's just 4 of us doing it on this relatively small football field, it doesn't house a lot of people. It probably takes us, you know, 30 minutes to an hour to pick up the trash. So it's just very amazing to me. You have all these people, and they're so respectful that with the group that they have, you know, you don't get a whole lot of trash. And that was kind of what this little blurb was about. It was like, yeah, it only took 90 minutes, you know, to pick up all that trash. And when I say all, there's not a whole lot of it. And so that's cool. And what you'll see when you read this book and look at the photos is that you're going to have, you know, different crimes, drunk driving, you know, You're going to have some kind of funny stories, or you actually have Aunt Jemima. You're going to have different civic events. And also towards the end of the book, you're going to see the development of the town going from the Victorian time architecture to the modern architecture. And it's a fascinating book. Let's see, this is interesting. After World War II, there was a big housing crisis. And there was actually several photos, it's just complete poverty and, if you're lucky, you got one of these metal barrack type things as your house, being a veteran after World War II. And you kind of have a big common room, and that's the majority of your house. But this picture was interesting to me. What this is kind of like a home kit where you dig a basement and you buy this kit on top of the basement and you live in the basement. And as you accumulate money, you add on to your top section until you get a multi-room house. And I thought that was very interesting because this is not the main living area right here. This, shack, that's on top of the basement that you live in. And so, like I said, as you earn and save money, you're supposed to, buy more components to this modular house until you have like a whole house. I thought that was interesting. I don't think I have any more bookmarked areas. Those are dead people. Them taking pictures of a dead person with a speed graphic. By the way, that's part of the lightsaber right there, if you want to look that up. But yeah, you get to see several things that, as the town matures, see they're demolishing this 100-year-old church in the name of progress. The church is relocating, but this is an old church from the 1800s. And they're going to build something else on top of there. Some kids found an old, like a antique cross with names on it, and they show pictures of different buildings that they're tearing down and replacing. House that blew over. There was a cool picture in here, and if I go to the picture that shall not be shown, I'll edit it out. But there's a picture where they're ice fishing, and it's an interesting picture. I'll cut film. There we go. This is an ice fishing event, and it turned into this thing where they would you have all these thousands of people ice fishing, and they'll make designs on the lake that they're ice fishing on and take aerial photography of it. So that's pretty cool, in my opinion. And this is, their ice castles and stuff. It's just interesting stuff. This is part of the strange days, not necessarily the dangerous nights. Drowned person. Okay, that's enough of the dark stuff. So I didn't actually mean to show all of that dark stuff, but they got a sequel to this book that's associated with murderers, and the actual people committing the crimes, and they're taking the pictures as they're being arrested and stuff. It's more of the dark side of the speed graphic area. Interesting book. I would recommend you check it out if you're into photojournalism, cameras. So that's it. I'm Satsu5, and I'm out.